I thought I'd spend just a moment and explain the difference between, let's say, a 10-10-10 chemical fertilizer and a 7-4-4 or 6-4-4 or 14-14-14 organic fertilizer. What's the difference? Now, you're reading right now, it's time to fertilize. I've been promoting that when the rains come, time to fertilize. This is especially true with organic fertilizers. Now, if you're dealing with things that are blooming or things that are fruiting, chemical fertilizers can be a bit strong while that plant is still actively blooming or fruiting. So probably not advisable to actively give plant food, chemical plant foods, to trees and shrubs while they're fruiting and blooming. It's better to wait till after they're done fruiting, basically. If you got a nectarine tree, it's got little nectarines on there and it's still producing, still growing, still. Sometimes you put a chemical fertilizer, which are very harsh, very strong, react very quickly. So the plant takes it up right away. Well, it can affect that fruit. Organic fertilizers don't do that. Organics, they break down slower. So typically it's cottonseed meal and bone meal and blood meal and feather meal. And there's different kinds of bird guano, just plain manures are organic. They break down slower. They're better for the soil. They're better for your worms. Chemical fertilizers tend to put on there and they can burn, they can do damage to the beneficial things that are in the soil, worms, mycorrhizal colonies. They don't like chemicals. They love organics out there in the yard. And so here I'm a strong advocate for organic fertilizers, organics, period. Strong advocate. If at all, try to use organic solutions in the yard, but sometimes an organic won't solve your grasshopper problems. We need to go with a stronger solution. And then we'll jump over to chemical solutions. And then we'll try to get the kindest ones that are effective, but not malathion. I mean, it basically vaporizes everything it touches. We just don't sell that here. It's not good for you. It's not good for your gardens. So we just try to go kinder. That's our logic. So when we're recommending a bug killer, a fertilizer, all of our plants are organic. So that's because we believe in that. We're never going to use imidacloprins. I mean, so the box stores are still using that stuff. This is death in a bottle that absorbs into the plant. And yes, it's highly effective, but I don't want that in my yard. Why would I want that in your yard? It's just not healthy for you. So we just stay away from that. So anyway, I digress. We're into business philosophies. We're going back to what's the difference between chemical and organic. The typical one is 10-10-10 fertilizer. I need a 10-10-10 fertilizer. That just means I like chemical fertilizers and I've always used them. Where are they? And we'll kind of go, well, we don't have that here, but let me show you this one. It's a 7-4-4 organic solution that's meant to do the same thing, but it will fertilize over a 3-month time frame instead of a 3-week time frame. Chemicals release very quickly, and that's why they're challenging for your worms, the good things in the soil. They also flush out of the soil very quickly. So most of your chemicals are water soluble. They're going to get a heavy rainstorm, going to release a little bit of food the plant can pick up, and the rest flushes downstream. That's not good. If we're drinking groundwater, that's terrible. So it's just not healthy for you and your neighbors, especially if you're on a well. Don't use chemical fertilizers. It's not healthy for you and your dogs and your kids. Use organics because they break down slower over a very long period of time. And so the plants can pick up virtually all of the organics. And then you can also use those. You can take advantage of the rain season that we have. This is a very active growing season. So you can use organics on your blooming plants. You can use them on your fruiting plants because they don't ignite and just release all of a sudden. They're releasing over a very slow, long period of time. And so you don't get that shock to the plant. So it's not going to drop some of its fruit. Sometimes you use chemicals on there, a cherry tree or a peach tree or nectarine or apricots. They'll shed their fruit going, that's too much. I just can't take. Oh, okay. You want me to focus on on foliage, I'll do that. Get rid of the fruits and let's focus on foliage because I got nitrogen like crazy. Organics don't do that. They kind of keep that plant nutrients just balanced for that fruit tree to keep forming the fruit and still bring out the color, get that greenness, to add more flowers to your roses, your Rosa Sharons. It just is healthier. If you have a choice, use organic foods, not chemical foods. And I would say stay away from 10-10-10 fertilizers. It's always chemical, always. And so we've got some organic solutions here at Waters Garden Center. Anyway, that's enough of that one. We'll be right back. Got Lisa Waterslane coming in right after this.